All right. Welcome back, everyone. Going to do a short introduction. So what's being expressed, what's being suggested is that there's only as it is-ness. As it is-ness. There's no such thing as awakening. There are no things to awaken. Since there's no one to wake up, everything is already awake. But since there's a lot of characters that likes that word awake, let's change it up a bit. So we're using dualistic words. So let's strip up the words and interchange awake and as it is. So as it is-ness is raw, pure, unfiltered, unknown. It is deliciously empty and full at the same time. Awakeness is the same. It's raw, pure. What did I say? Unfiltered, unknown, empty fullness, emptiness. In this at is-ness, sometimes there is whatever it is. It could appear as, hooray, awakeness, as it is. It could be, oh shit, as it is, awake. It could be confusion. It could be grogginess. In this awakeness, sometimes there is sleepiness. As it is always awake to itself, even when it is pretending to sleep. Have you ever been a kid and you're trying to pretend to sleep, but your eyes are kind of like closed and you're just pretending? So the seeking is awake. So whatever it is already awake. There's no you, but you are already awake already. Again, even pretending not to be awake is awake already. The apparent you, although there's no you, is awake to the illusions. Since illusions are just emptiness in disguise, everything is already emptiness. So everything that is seen is as it is emptiness, although it appears as this persistent illusion of realness. Since realness is an illusion, it already is as it is. Even a denial to what already is awake is what it is. Everything is already perfect as it is. I was talking to someone earlier about conspiracy theory. So imagine this, right? So there's the sports happening, there's straight up stuff that apparently happens, like sports. So the sport commentator cannot change the game that is playing. If there's a rugby or a basketball or a baseball, the sport commentator cannot change the results. The weather person cannot change the weather. But somehow, saying when people seem to go to the rabbit hole, they pay attention to, for example, with the news. There's also an alternative to that one. You can go to the rabbit hole of the belief of the commentator. So, for example, you can go to the left when listening to Fox News. I don't know if you guys are in the States. Or you can go to the right listening to CNN. Or worse, you can go to the conspiracy theorist. It's like trying to understand what is as it is already. It's like trying to understand sign language when you've never been deaf. You don't, or it's kind of like pretending to read Braille when you've never been blind. So the biggest conspiracy theory is that there is separation, that there's someone that needs to awaken, that there is something missing, kind of like what Kathy said. When everything is already as it is, it's already clearly appearing as it is, everything is already awake. The trees are awake, the birds are awake, the sun is awake, the cloud is awake. Everything is already awake. But those names are just basically names for as it is. So everything is as it is, already awake as it is. Are you guys getting to get this? So what seems to be happening is as it is without any commentator. But since the commentator is also as it is, there's the unreal and the real appearing as it is. So whatever is seen is as it is, whatever is heard is as it is. But seemingly what seems to happen is that there is a belief of left or right. There is sometimes a going down the rabbit hole of the conspiracy theory that there is a separate me. Although there's nothing wrong or right about anything, what's being suggested is there's a suggestion that someone needs to awaken. And then all sorts of conspiracy theory arises. That there's consciousness, there's awareness. There's funny stories about, other, oh, this ascended, enlightened thing has reached this. Their conspiracy theory and trying to maintain that there is something missing. That there's something that needs to be attained. That there's something that needs to be known. But since everything is already as it is, everything is already awake as it is, any commentator, any kind of interpretation, again, is like listening to sign language or reading Braille or listening to Braille. It doesn't make sense. Because no matter what the commentary is, no matter what the interpretation is, no matter what the expression is, cannot take away of everything already being as it is. So all that there is this as it is. All that there is this awakeness, aliveness, alertness as it is. So whatever arises is going to be as it is, even if it feels like pain. Pain is already awake. It could be this extreme anxiety. That's already awake. So when there is a commentary of what is appearing as it is, and say that there's something missing from that, it either drags this story into something that's unbearable, or it drags the story into something that something's got to change. So it bypasses as it is to become what should be. If only I awaken, if only there's no me, if there's only this, and that. So it got into that big conspiracy theory that there was a me in the first place. It got into that conspiracy theory that there was a separation in the first place. It gets into this conspiracy theory that there's a seeking because something is lost, something is missing. So it goes into this rabbit hole over and over again, into this never-ending loop of seeking for what already is as it is. For what already is, already clearly, simply as it is naturally. That there's nothing that needs to be changed. There's nothing that needs to be practiced. Nothing needs to be deleted. Because you can't delete as it is. You can't edit it. Because there's no you to edit it. Because what's already awake is already awake. It cannot be, no matter what commentary, no matter what kind of suggestion, no matter the commentary of another person, there's no other people. It is already as it is. This is awakeness and deep sleep appearing at the same time, but that's saying too much. This is the wow. This is the aliveness, awakeness that is always constantly slapping you. It's already awake. There's nothing that needs to be done. There's nothing needed. But I feel sad. Sadness is also awakeness. It's as it is. But the moment that it becomes into a loop of seeking, becomes this commentary of, I don't know if you've heard of some of the news commentators, saying from both sides, it could spin the story into something that's very, very important. Or what I notice sometimes is there's always breaking news. Breaking news. The me is back. The me is here. Breaking news. Then it becomes this, this stretched out story that just really is as it is. There's an appearance, there's this felt sense reality called a me when it's actually not there. So rather than seeing it as it is, like a clouds rolling by that passes, like the night that passes and becomes day, it becomes something like a narrative, something kind of like a conspiracy theory, that there's something that is separate, something that is longing, something that is desperately longing for something to happen, when what is being expressed is that it already happened. There's no you, but you have already awakened. It's already awake. It's always awake. It's just never been asleep. It's never been separate. This awakeness appears in everything, without a you or with you. But since there's no you, it's all awakeness. Because awakening is an idea that there's someone that needs to be awakened. But what's being expressed here is as it is. It's already done. It's already complete. It's already whole. So no matter what seems to appear, no matter what seems to be denied, it's going to be as it is. As I mentioned, it's like a child trying to close its eyes to pretend that it's asleep, but it's awake already. And once it's awake, it cannot see or unsee that everything was separate from awakeness, because nothing is separate from awakeness. Everything is already complete and done. Awake is awake to itself. Hooray. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Oh, thank you. Hi, Eliana. I can't hear you.
I want to say how wonderful that image of a child pretending to be asleep is. It's so delightful. There's no spiritual struggle.
No, no, it's just innocence,
it's
right?
just
It's
so,
innocence. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's just innocence pretending that it's in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Trying to close its eyes, you see little kid can like hide their face with one open, It's pretend.
Yeah. And that's another image that Rose had of a child disappearing.
Oh.
That peekaboo game.
Yeah.
It's only this.
Yeah.
And you're not there when you're not there.
Yeah, it's a child sometimes that's afraid to go to sleep because it's so excited about this awakeness, this aliveness. And then sometimes it gets scared with, being in bed, so it pretends to be also. Sometimes it gets scared and opens its eyes and will tell its mommy, there's a monster inside the closet. The mommy will open up the closet and will say that it's just hangers. It's just shadows of a hanger. But it's convinced because it's awake. It's as it is. So this aliveness is like a little child that pretends to sleep, but is always awake. That has this fear, but the fear passes. It's kind of like when you distract a child from a tantrum. I don't know if you've done that. I have a little nephew. I distract that, he was kind of like beginning to do a tantrum. Like, do you want to go for some ice cream? And then it just goes into kind of like, okay, yeah, ice cream. It forgets everything about what was talked about that was so heavy. That's awakeness. It's just raw, right? It's pure, it's innocent. And it's always this. It's always it's alive and dead at the same time. Thank you. Hey, Ben. Oh, that's Ileana again. There's Ben. Hi, Ben.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
All right. So by awakeness, you're not referring to consciousness, awareness?
No. Nothing to do with the individual, right? That's why I'm saying trees, flowers, sadness. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way. Yeah.
But I had the idea in my mind that the rocks, the trees, they're all aware or conscious or something.
No, because there's no separation, right? Again,
Right.
that's just another that's another kind of like conspiracy theory that I got caught up in, this character anyway, right? That everything is consciousness, everything is, but the one that's conscious of that stems from an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, this is awakeness with or without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't referring to rocks, trees, flowers being individually awake. I meant, like everything is just awake, conscious. Everything is consciousness without a self.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
it's just semantics. Maybe it's just
I
semantics.
used to think that too. I used to think that too until I got kind of like spiraled into that rabbit hole of thinking that everything is the same, emptiness, awakeness, and everything. When it's being said that there is no individual, it means that there's no one conscious, no one aware, because it can get into that thin line, you know what I'm saying, of kind of like, well, that's the same, but not really. That thin line is everything though, right? It's about someone. See, the idea of consciousness, the idea of awareness stems from an apparent individual. When I'm seeing as it is, it doesn't have any idea. I'm just interchanging the word awake, saying I don't really usually like that word a lot, but I prefer the word as it is-ness, emptiness.
Okay.
As it is, because when there is this idea of consciousness, aware that I am aware, everything is aware, then it becomes this dualistic expression. And then it becomes focusing on your awareness, focusing on the, not focusing on the objects, not focusing on the subjects. It's just this. But focusing again on awareness or consciousness is a dualistic practice and denying what is already as it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it can get a little bit confusing sometimes because people, and I don't want to be a hardball on it, right? But this is just basically based on the character's experience of that separation. He thought it was not separate, but thinking that it was not separate also a separation. Thinking that it was aware was also separation. It was just very, very tricky. It's like the character has underground and now sees a purpose to this, now sees a meaning to this, now sees a source to this. And that source and meaning and purpose and everything is that kind of like anchor in the belief system. So there's still an underlying belief that there is something greater, like consciousness, or something aware, like all the trees. I'm not just aware of it. So this, and it's not even it's not even a thin line. It's a wall in between this kind of like thing. It's just this. The other one has a wall, an idea, a belief. What's being expressed about here is without walls. So it's like a different language. As I said, what's being expressed here is kind of like trying to express this communication that cannot be communicated.
For sure.
And it's like, trying to understand sign language by looking at it, but you don't have any idea what the signs are. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of teachers who teach everything is consciousness.
That's why I see them as doing sign language, you know what I'm saying?
And they call it non-duality. They call it non-duality.
But it's dual. Yeah. It's like they've arrived at something, and what they've arrived at actually is just from their own perspective, their own perceiving of what should be, right? And I'm guilty of that. I used to think that I know it all, I know everything, and this is the opposite. I don't know anything. But what seems to be appearing here is just this talk about something that's coming out freely without any concept or ideas.
Yeah.
By using concepts and ideas, of course, because it can't get out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think that some of these teachers would come to the realization that they were wrong or they misunderstood. But I guess they're just too invested in their message.
I did.
Written too many books.
this character did that, you know, saying.
And they have, you know, all these Patreons and everybody paying them money to listen to this message.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're stuck. They can't get out. They can't change it and go, whoops, sorry, I was wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? What's really obvious with a lot of teachers is that, you know, some of them see a glimpse of what is. So when you see the glimpse of what is, it's really clear. It's really clear. There's this, you know, like, but when the character starts owning what happened and it becomes my experience, my awakening, my, you know, it becomes their version of what awakening is, and it becomes a dream. It's kind of like someone's basically saying, well, you know, Ben, I was dreaming last night that I got enlightened, but they omit that I was dreaming. They omit that, you know, that there was, you know, there was, because when it's seen as a dream, there's no enlightenment, there's no I, nothing even happened. So that's why it's difficult sometimes for some speakers with the clarity that there's nothing happening and no one's happening to even express. Some even speakers don't even mention it, right? It's irrelevant. The way that I talk about it, I don't even know what timeline is anymore because it's seen. my doggy just broke in. She has this big smile on her face because she's been trying to see me. She's like, hi. There's this you know, when this speaks about this, it just basically, it was just DJing. It's always been seen that there's never been anyone, and that's always that way when someone is doing something that they love. Is there's just no one doing any of that. But there's a claiming sometimes of that story saying that, you know, I'm a great DJ, you know, I'll do this, do that, and that's just a narrative of it. But in the immediacy of what's being expressed is just this raw as it is-ness, right? This is just as it is, without any history, without this directness, basically. So whatever is appearing is always just as it is. And then when you say that there's an awakened being, someone talking about Buddha or whatever, that's just coming up as a narrative to what is. That's just a commentary, right? So if
right, the storyline.
The storyline. So all that there is this, and anything that comes in story form that appears in the past, the future, or even, you know, even something present, something, you know, is just another story because there's no time where this is as it is. I'm just going to close my door because my dog ear is going to knock down my light. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just like a dog, you know, like the dog is as it is. It goes outside naked. You know, it cries when it's hungry.
Yeah.
It barks when it's threatened. It's as it is. It's just all of this apparent reaction. It just sees everything as it is. Even when I step on its toes, sometimes when it yelps, it forgives right away because it doesn't see any history. If it's not meant, you know, it's not meant as a punishment or something. It's just instantly forgotten and forgiven. Everything is just as it is. And when it's seen that everything is just as it is, appearing as this narrative or whatever, right? Then the filters of, you know, are gone. It's an unfiltered way of seeing everything as it is. It doesn't have to be performative. It doesn't have to be focused on. It doesn't have to be concentrated on. It doesn't have to be avoided. It doesn't have to be neglected. It doesn't have to be, it's just as it is. And that's what's really thrilling sometimes when it's seen that everything is just appearing as this. And there's no, and even when it says that this is not it, it's also appearing as it is. So it's the awakeness, the aliveness, and everything that appears.
So there's no longer a desire to make a story of anything,
No.
even though stories are so fascinating. They're so interesting.
Oh yeah. There's sometimes there's enjoyment in telling stories, you know, although nothing happened, but no one is claiming them to be relevant anymore. It's just coming out, right? It's not an important story anymore. There's no more claiming of that story. If I ever I do tell stories. When I say stories, I'll say right away, this is just a story, but here it goes. Meaning this is fiction. This is not real.
Yeah, we love stories.
Yeah, why not?
But it seems like liberation that obviously doesn't need stories. It's better than any story, right?
Yeah, but that's
It's
just
better
another
than any story
story.
could ever be.
That's just
What's
another
that?
story. That's just another
Okay.
story, you know, saying kind of like um as an awakening story. When I
Mhm.
thought that I had enlightenment, my family knew about my story of liberation because it was important, right? Because it was a me that got liberated.
Mhm.
And I shared my work with my family. But now that this apparent character fell away, it doesn't even talk about it. You know, it's just, you know, it's like, oh, I just talk about nothing. I have a YouTube channel. I talk about nothing. There's no more
But what about the
self-importance.
family though? How do they react now? Have they gotten
Well,
over it?
well, they just see it as, you know, you know, another
It's
thing
normal.
that it's just normal. Yeah, it's just well, they don't even I don't even talk about non-duality to them because it's not really
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah.
I don't even talk about the Emerson dropping away because it's not really necessary. Because that's just a story. It never really happened to anyone. This is not even
So
happening.
so they no longer treat you special.
No, no. Which is the best thing that could actually happen to a character when it's not treated special anymore.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't maintain the story of specialness.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just it's like when there was this apparent seeing or apparent um you know, the specialness of I don't know if you've met someone famous, really really famous, or someone really really rich, that there's almost a sadness about being rich or famous.
No, we can see it. It's everywhere. You know, you hear the stories, the
Yeah,
horror
yeah.
stories
The
about, you know,
divorce, the, you
going
know,
downhill. Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's when someone seemingly gets to the top, it's really lonely at the top. And
Oh yeah.
um but what's being expressed there, that, you know, it's that there's nothing missing. Fame or no fame, wealth or no wealth, everything is equally as it is. There's no better situation or worse situation. It's the perfection in everything that's appearing because no one is choosing any of this. It's all innocently happening. So it doesn't make sense to correct anything that's already perfect. I did a career of
Perfect.
correcting. I did a career correcting myself, correcting my thoughts, all that kind of stuff to maintain something that I
Mhm.
really price, which is kind of like perhaps, you know, in the seeking world, the most cherished prized possession, which is your own enlightenment. And then when the enlightenment is seen as a facade, it's seen as just another story. It's just seen as another narrative to create this specialness, to maintain this character. Although there was no one there, it maintains that there is no one there.
So you
So
spend
this
all those
is,
years, you spend all those years purifying and becoming a
oh,
saint.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I even did the selfless service bit, right? You know, all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. But that's really irrelevant. So what's being expressed here is that even that is seen as it is. There's nothing wrong or right with that. It's just a
Yeah.
story, right? It's just a story. It's just innocence. You know, it's like a kid kind of like pretending that they're asleep. It's already awake to everything.
I tried a lot of selfless service, but there was too much self there.
That's what I figured out.
You know, and the appreciation, you know, you thought they'd
and
appreciate what
and
you're
this
doing,
and
and
the
no,
selfless and the
a lot of them
selfless
didn't.
and the selfless service, you know, increases when someone's watching.
Yeah, I took it personally. I took it personally. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Emerson.
All right, Ben. There's a question here. Hi, Emerson. I feel such a relief that everything is already as it is. Even when I don't feel awake, there's no one that needs to be awakened. Yeah. Yeah. It's the play of duality. There's this illusory idea that there's something that needs to happen when nothing is happening, that there's something missing when it's already full. So this ideas of plays, playing it's like uh, it's like hide and seek. It's like a play. It's like a game. When it's seen that it's just pure, it's just what it is. It's really simple, that there's nothing to figure out. It just chills and relaxes. So there's a relaxation. There's no more neurotic tendencies to try to change something that cannot be changed. Hello, Emerson. Thank you so much for the clarity. Is there a time that Emerson gets unsure about this communication? Actually, no. This is natural as breathing now, right? Because it's just this undeniability that this is already as it is, and there's nothing that arises that can challenge that. There's so much silence that any ideas and thoughts about what should be or what should be missing gets drowned in a sea of silence. There's just contentment here. This contentment has, and this is just a story, this contentment has been here, although there's no 4 years for 4 years. There's just this, yeah, there's just no drama. What do you think? Ooh, this is a controversial question, Kane. What do you think of people who claim to fall away and create YouTube channels, then the me comes back? Um, there's no thought about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just as it is. Just as it is. Um, it's just as it is. Whatever is as it is. And there's no really commentary. There's no energy to comment about that at all. Um, there's a follow-up question here. Would Emerson change his message? And no. Hell no. There's no Emerson to change any message here. There's clarity here for about 4 years, and and this is just a story, but this is the best 4 years of my life. When I was in the awareness and in the spiritual teacher Emerson, those were like probably 10 years or more of the worst years of my life. It was pure suffering, maintaining, achieving, maintaining. It was just going back and forth. There will be kind of like bliss, and there will be like crying, thinking that you lost it, and then going back again. Um, it is just what it is. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kane. Yeah. I'm not going to comment on that one, but yeah. We can chat about it later. Hi, Kathy.
Hey.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Love that. Anyway, I was just thinking, I said the reason why people come up with conspiracy theories is because, like, not to bring up the rainbows again, but I am.
Go for it.
I mean, I couldn't understand in bloody old rainy old London how 6 rainbows appeared when the Queen died.
Yeah.
I couldn't, I thought for sure, the government hologram trying to drum up support for a monarchy that was, sort of iffy in the country. But even with, what went on with the pandemic, the conspiracy theories, and the vaccines.
What pandemic? I'm just joking.
What?
Nothing
Tell
in the
me.
vaccines. No, I'm just being cheeky.
Well, I didn't hear it. But
Okay.
anyway, it's something that's so ungraspable that people are just, you're just grasping. You're trying to understand something that can't be understood, really.
Oh yeah. But if you look at it, like what I said is earlier is as it is right now, we don't even hear the pandemic about anymore. But about a few months ago, like my last birthday, it was just so heavy, right? It's kind of like with the Queen. The Queen, when you pay your attention to it, you see rainbows and everything. But for people in an Amazon, tribe to have never heard of the Queen, you will just see rainbows.
Yeah.
But because there is
listen, the pandemic is still, well, it's just that it's not being there's no press about it anymore because people are like, screw it, we got to get back to our lives, and go on, But I mean, if you go into depth and you start reading some reports, it's
you can get
scary.
Oh yeah, totally. There's always gonna be whatever's paid attention to, even though it is as it is, can get into the commentary side of things. Kind of like what I was saying earlier, right? For example, you walk into a room, and you walk into a room and no one's talking about you, and then you start thinking that, oh, you know what, I got some looks and everything, right? So the commentary starts about what is happening. You're like, oh, you know what, they think that, whatever thinking that you have of what people are thinking about you, then it becomes absolutely kind of like, convincingly real for you. And then when you confront someone, said, what did you say about me? And then someone will say, I was not talking about you. And I just say honestly that they were not talking about, but you're so convinced already that someone's talking about you that you flare up, that kind of thing, right? So what's being expressed here is that whatever is seen is as it is, and then there's this commentary that can just make into something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the apparency. Yeah. It's commentary continuously.
Yeah.
Even in your own, even not there in your own head, there's so much commentary. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Well, when it's seen that's just all silence, meaning it's really meaningless and empty, and not to kind of like say that it's meaningless and empty, but it is meaningless and empty. If you really look at that, if you compare, for example, to let's just say there is a character here that does not read the news or does not do whatever,
right?
It's completely meaningless and empty.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But when
so
there's
I have to tear up and throw away the TV. No, I mean, you can't, if you're really in the illusionary world, whatever you call it, you can't escape it, really. You can't, so it's just like, it's very hard to escape that.
Yeah. But this character is still in this apparent, apparent world, but it doesn't pay attention to any of that at all. You know what I'm saying, though? It's
You're
like,
not there. That's why you're not really there. I see nothing. I hear nothing.
No, it's not even a denial. It's just like my, it's odd, right? It's just
Yeah.
Or sometimes
Yeah,
I don't
God.
even know how to act. Sometimes they're really, really sad that someone can, like, I'm like, oh, sorry about that, or
Yeah.
because it's seen that everything is just this constructed reality, although no one's constructing it. So when it's seen that everything is just fiction, it's like being I was talking to a friend that watched the Dahmer drama on Netflix, right?
Ugh,
My friend is
yeah.
like, I can't go outside of the house for the past couple of days. I'm like, what's wrong? Because I got freaked out with that Dahmer thing. And I'm like, so here it was like, like, oh, it's seen as a show. Even, everything is seen as a show. Even if it feels absolutely real, it's seen as a show. And no one's
Wow.
running the show. Yeah. So there's no
Yeah.
attention to a particular thing. It doesn't get caught up in the narrative of things. It doesn't get caught up in the storyline of everything. It's so funny because the past couple of weeks, people have been messaging me nonstop about some other stuff, and it doesn't really. There's no. I laugh at it basically. There's just laughter here.
Yeah.
There's no. It's like kind of like it's like when you are in a playground and everyone's running around, and they're so seriously fighting about something, and they think they're all pretending to be grown up and everything, but they're just really putting up sand castles, and they're pissing at each other's sand castle. Someone is laughing at it because it sees that it's just all a play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me some of your pills.
It's well, there's no such pills, unfortunately. As I always see this, if there's something that I can give you, I would have given it to you. I'm not
Yeah.
there's this generous character here, but since there's no you and there's no one here, I can't give anything to you. The only thing that I can do is illuminate and be honest and be sincere that it sees nothing but emptiness. And the emptiness over there is the same emptiness as over here. It's not separated at all. There's no separation in this emptiness and that emptiness, in this silence and that silence. It's the same. So it's emptiness putting her hands over her eyes saying that I'm not emptiness. And here's the laughing part of it.
Mhm.
Haha.
Mhm.
So it's like emptiness in drag.
Mm.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't
Yeah.
see anything that needs to be corrected. It doesn't need anything that is wrong with it because it sees its perfection, despite the narrative of give me some pill or something. It sees the play of it. It's obvious here. It's so obvious that there's already emptiness everywhere. And it's just basically saying that it's all empty. It's all empty. It's kind of like it's like when kids are fighting, in the parking lot or in the playground, in the sand lot. Someone's saying that there's ice cream over there. There's an ice cream truck. It's yummy. It's a play.
When the boys used to fight, they used to say, "Tell them your zipper's down."
Your zipper's down. So that's what it is. That's what it is. It's just this. It's
Yeah.
as it is. There's just this seeming seeking for something that was never lost, and then there's stories about seeking for something that was found, and I laugh at both. Yeah, because it's been in that situation, and that situation never really even happened. Right? It's just this narrative about something that's already perfectly obviously clear that it's already complete.
It is difficult for the person that, like myself, that is so grounded in so many like beliefs that still haunt. Whatever.
Yeah. Let them haunt.
It's hard. It's hard.
It doesn't have to be
It's
believed.
hard.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
It's hard to shake them all. I mean, the whole day is a bunch of freaking beliefs, one after the other. From the time you pick up the, really, did the sun come up? I mean, it's not going to go through each and every one.
It doesn't have
But
to. It doesn't have to. when there's just this blanket, you know what I'm saying, statement that everything is disbelief, that is just this happening. It's not even asking you to not believe it, because that'll be just another belief. It's just basically, you know, kind of like tickling the you know, like when you tickle kind of like your nephews and nieces, and just and they giggle, and they basically said, oh, okay, I'll stop pretending, because they'll pretend, you know, everything is just pretend. But sometimes the pretending becomes so serious that, you know, it's kind of like two puppies fighting, and they're going at it, or two toddlers fighting, saying that I am Superman, no, you're Batman. I'm Superman, no, you're Batman. Mom, I'm supposed to be Superman, but he says I'm Batman. It's just this costumes, you know, it's just this pretend. And somehow that pretend, it's kind of like going to a Halloween party, and then, you know, it's Christmas time, and people are like, why are you still wearing your costume? Emptiness goes, well, I really like this costume, and it's just pretend, and it's seen as innocent, right? So the emptiness basically says, well, I'm going to do practices now about being empty. I'm like, but it's already empty, so what are you doing? It's also seen as what is. So for example, there's already no beliefs there, but somehow you've said that, well, it's really hard because every day and everything. So it's just basically you saying, well, you know what, I'm so used to this costume of belief systems that, you know, everything that I see is a belief. I'm like, well, it's just a costume. You're like, well, I don't think it's a costume, because I'm caught up in beliefs, right? So it's just seen as a belief, but it's not going to say, I'm not going to yell at you and say, well, you know, get real and get the costume out, you know, because there's still a play there that wants to play as it is. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. Yeah. But sometimes,
So
you know,
what?
sometimes
So what?
sometimes when the player kind of like gets when when it's sick and tired of it, and basically says, well, I kind of know this already, Emerson. There's this resonance here that really this is nothing. But can you tell me again? And we'll go at it. Just let me know when. But if there's still kind of like a wanting to hold on to the play, to the illusion of separation, and that's completely all right. That's completely all right. You said you wanted to play hide and seek in eternity. This is what's happening.
It doesn't feel like wanting.
Yeah, because it's so deep.
It's just what is. It's just what is.
It's just what is, and it's like so deep undercover.
Mm.
Love you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take my hand down.
Emerson.
Oh, hi. Oh,
Hi.
hi. Where are you? Just a second.
I'll put my hand up.
There you are.
Yeah.
Hey, Rosen.
Hey, I was basically, me and my friends, one of my friends wanted to try LSD yesterday night. And I was like, I'll have quarter of a tab, you know, that's not gonna, you know, do much. And to be fair, it was fine, but it was so funny at one point because my friend wanted to go on a walk, like it was like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And she just wore her jacket and she had no like bottoms on at all. She was ready to leave the house, and I was just thinking about you when you were naked walking on LSD. And it made me die.
That was how old? That was like 25, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
I can see.
Yeah, because there's just a suspension of belief systems, and usually what happens, right? But it becomes but when it comes rushing back, you know, usually that's why, you know what, LSD and drug experiences are just experiences. They're not permanence or whatever, right? There seems to be kind of like a longing for that again, you know. Another trip that I had 30 years ago when I took it, I think I told this story already. I put on socks. There was a hardwood floor, so I was sliding back and forth the hardwood floor for hours, going just going back and forth with socks. it's just this aliveness, right? And but it's also um but it's almost like a suspension of the believer, like, you know, the
Yeah,
suspension, a suspension of shame.
yeah. It was so, like, it was actually really great because, like,
Yeah.
you could just, I don't know, man. LSD is a funny one because, like, it's so clear always, but
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this random guy, like,
it's
started,
it's
like,
it's fun when you're no longer seeking, you know, when you take it and you're no longer
yeah,
seeking, there's just this aliveness and everything, and it's just almost, the clarity is unchangeable, you know, the what isness is unchangeable,
mhm,
but what is already appearing as this trip into the fantastic, you know.
mhm.
It's but for when I was 20, I guess, coming from a religious background, right? So when I encountered that, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah. Eh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then life becomes a trip. You become,
Well,
I don't know.
it's just the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was fun. That was been fun.
Mhm,
That was
mhm.
been fun. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun.
Some people when I DJ sometimes don't have any, you know, the past few times anyway. They think that I'm on something, and they're like, what are you on? I'm
Mhm,
like, oh, nothing. Nothing. Is this like
mhm.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning? They're like,
Yeah, yeah, it's mad.
yeah.
Uh,
But
I think there
sometimes, you
was
know,
like,
but sometimes when I go DJ and then everyone's high, it's kind of funny because there is just this. I smile a lot because there's this just emptiness in a lot of characters, right? There's just this absence of this, the character trying to be something. So all of the inhibitions go out. You know, they're dancing wild. You know, and they're intoxicated. You
mhm,
know, and or they're high with whatever substances they are. The dancing's really wild,
mhm.
and then when they and then the DJ gets really really appreciated, right? And they try to give me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh no, it's all right. You know, it's all right. It's
No,
fun.
you end up falling in love with the DJs
What's
because
that?
it's like you end up falling in love with the DJ because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, because it's like the music, you can feel the energy, and it's just fucking, everything's just alive,
yeah,
and it's,
yeah.
yeah,
It's just like this.
so
It's just like this.
yeah,
Yeah. There's just there's
fiercely,
just a DJ here that's DJing remixing what is.
yeah.
We're mixing nothing.
Mhm, mhm. Anyways, I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, likewise. We're gonna dance tomorrow.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you, Rojan.
Thank you.
Christine goes, hi, Emerson. Would a one-on-one with you always conclude with a falling away of the seeker? Um, there's no seeker, so there's really no conclusion. There's just sometimes an illumination that there was no seeker at all. And it's just really obvious. It's like what seems to be happening at this apparent meeting. There's just this obviousness that there seems to be a listening, an understanding, trying to, but as it is, it's already done. It's already complete. It's in its completion. It's already relaxed. And then there's a commentary sometimes we will say that, well, you know, they're still seeking here, but that's just a commentary. It's like a basketball commentary. It can't help with the 3-point shots. It is what it is. Well, thank you, Christine. Hi, Emerson. I'm amazed that you're 51. What is the difference from sorry, a 20, 30, or 51-year-old Emerson? Um, there's really no history to this, but seemingly there's this um energy here that's very youthful. I don't know. I can't explain it. There's just this aliveness. There's just this wants to jump up and down, eat lots of food, eat, go dancing. There's just this aliveness. And that's just a story as well. So there's not much really difference then from the 20, 30, and 50 Emerson when there's no Emerson. Oh, thank you. Hello. Can you hear me? Hi, Emerson. Based from what I heard from your first meeting, so what you're trying to say is that this communication that you're saying is stating that it's already free, and any teaching that is being presented is saying that you are not free. To some extent, yeah. What's being expressed here is that there's no one free or not free. Everything is already free. So there's no person or individual that needs to be free when everything is already expressed as separation is also unconditionally free. to an extent, what is being expressed in teachings of, awareness or whatever, um, is basically claiming that there's someone that needs to be aware, meaning not free. So it creates this illusion of bondage to be able to express that there is a freedom that needs to be sought for. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just an expression. But two different things, two different languages. Hey, Emerson, where does this clarity come from? I really don't know. I really don't know. It doesn't come from anywhere. There's no one here. There's just this undeniability that there's never been anyone here. And that's just what's being expressed. It's not really coming from anyone or anywhere for that matter. Because anyone and anywhere are just ideas of what seems to be going on. It is what it is. Yes. Oh, Kane, I'll let you know, bud. Should be soon. Looking forward to it, actually. Kane goes, can you talk about scientists and mathematicians trying to know infinity? It's a funny thing because it's what's being expressed here is unknowable, and infinity is unknowable. It's beautiful though, and trying to express something that is unknowable, and trying to figure out something that cannot be figured out. It's the same as this. This is actually speaking about something that is fruitless, that doesn't really have any kind of destination, because what's being expressed here is the infinity. So kind of like what I said in a talk, this is like chasing infinity. Chasing infinity is just something that appears to happen, but since there is no definitive, or there's no conclusion, or there's no arrival at anything, it's just the apparent ongoing, the never-ending infinite expression of this infinity. Is just fascinating, and I get fascinated with it. It's hilarious sometimes. It's really hilarious watching, a whole bunch of scientists and mathematicians trying to figure out something that can't be figured out. Although it is hopeless, there is a seeking. So when I see mathematicians and scientists trying to figure out this infiniteness, um, it's like seeking, pretending that they will get there, but when there is no getting there. You can ask Tej about that, because I think he was looking at infinity too. But hilarious, huh? Sorry, Tej, did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying, nobody has a clue, Emerson.
No one, yeah, no one.
I mean, it's very clear that nobody has a clue.
No, it's just degrees of honesty, in science, also in non-duality. There's going to be, there's when someone think that they've arrived at something, which doesn't really happen in scientists, right? It's always theories about something. There's an admission, that they can't get anywhere, but there's an attempt. But with non-duality, when someone apparently lands at somewhere, then you know that they're just coming up with some BS, apparently, and it's all innocent.
Yeah, I mean, just since we are talking about this, I don't know if you heard the news. There's recently Nobel Prize given to 3 scientists. One of them, I believe, is in Walnut Creek, close by, and this is about what's called the entanglement principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you read the description of the person that gave the Nobel Prize, it was so astounding, because I mean, I wish I had it here. I would read it out, but I'll send you by email. It's talking in a way that it's really nothing. The way they are discovering, they've gotten to this point, and that's why they got the Nobel Prize, because they have gone to this point to understand that at the base of it all, the quarks or subatomic particles, it is unknown, because I mean, so what they are saying is there is something outside of the physical space that's connecting the particles, and they do not know what it is.
Yeah.
So astounding.
Yeah.
But it goes to what you're saying. It's totally, I mean, we don't know.
No one
We
knows.
are in time and space.
Yeah. And it's just a joy, you know what I'm saying, when there's just this kind of like, that sweet surrender when it can't be known. So all of this seeking, although it might have seemingly seem really frustrating at times at the time of seeking, although that's just a story, it when it becomes fruitless, all of this seeking, all of this, that when everything is already as it is, when everything is already appearing everywhere, that there's nothing hidden at all. Nothing was figured out, but everything was figured out at the same time, right? That it can't be figured out, but this is completely unknowable, and there's undeniability that this is it already, and what is it cannot be known. It's very paradoxical, but it's just this, oh wow, it's almost like I will never figure it out, but I'm okay with it, because there's no one here that needs to be figured out. it's just this sweet release of this attempt of trying to figure out something. It's akin to winning a Nobel Prize, Nobel Prize of nothing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's more than that, because
Yeah.
obviously, they're still caught up in a way. But, it just shows this is Nobel Prize just given. So this
Yeah.
is at the forefront of science.
It is.
And this paragraph was amazing when I read it. They are now coming to the conclusion,
Yeah.
definitely,
Someone sent it
that
to
there
me.
is
Yeah.
something happening beyond space and time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Anyway, I
fun.
wanted to, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to share with you, Emerson. I don't know, these days, I seem to, be melting away and crying at very small pretext of anything. It's really
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
It's just this enormous humility, you know what I'm saying, of something that's so grand at the same time. It's really nothing, it's I think I did that too, like the weeping, kind of like, this the simplicity and the exquisiteness of everything that seemingly is appearing, right? It's so, yeah, and the gratefulness of the little things,
Mm.
I think
Yep.
I cried even at the gravity, even at the step that I was, when I was stepping into the ground. I'm like, oh wow, there is this. It's almost like everything is always supported, but nothing is supporting it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Even to just listen to you talk, I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh, thank you, It's really nothing,
Thank you.
but thank you. Hi, Sheer.
Hey,
Hi.
hi.
Hello.
You did talk about science and
Yeah.
quantum physics.
Fascinating, huh?
Those are, yes, it's fascinating, but they are very concentrated in the matter.
Yes.
Matter. So they just analyze it,
Mhm.
and when even when they analyze it, it's jumping. That you call it. I cannot call it. I don't know in Swedish. It called quantum physics. It's just analyzes.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
concentrated in matter. No, it's matter.
Yeah. It's
And
trying to figure
also
out.
when,
Sorry, go ahead.
but even if you analyze it, in the end of this, the only thing which you found is nothing.
Yes.
So it's a peer, and
Yeah. It always leads to nothing. Nothing will ever be figured out. It always, the conclusion is always going to be that nothing will be figured out. And there are things that are getting clearer and clearer. Like, for example, it was seen that there's no such thing as a self. There's no self, there's no time, and so if there's no self, there's no consciousness, and there's no free will or choice. So these are beginning to emerge as something, as something that although there's no answers to anything, they're narrowing it down to something that's beginning to emerge as something that can't be figured out, because it seems to come from these factors of knowing. So basically, it's beginning to show up that it's unknown. Everything is unknown because there's no self to base it from. There's no time to base it from. So all of the studies that's happening, and that could be completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? But when I meet some of these guys, it's just a joy to talk about nothing, and when it coincides with what they're talking about, there's this kind of like, oh wow,
they just measure it, it's a measure.
Yeah.
But they cannot measure this appearance.
Yeah.
How you want to measure this? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sheer.
Emerson, I just would like to ask you
Yeah,
one
for
thing,
sure.
because there is many people talk about this,
Yeah.
about intuition. But intuition in my language, you have many kind of name, you know, it's
Yeah.
just, I would like to, I know about it, but I would like to hear what you call, what you
Which word again?
got. And intuition.
Oh, intuition. Intuition.
Yes.
Intuition is something that's almost like a remembrance of something, right? Something that rings true. Something that is like a I if I may, it's like emptiness. You know, intuitively, um, tuning into its own emptiness is the way that I see it. So there's this
Yes.
intuitiveness to what is being expressed here. So there's this intuitiveness that what it's seeing over there is also emptiness. So what it's talking about is emptiness. It's almost like this undeniability of that what Sam is saying. There's going to be many different definitions, but the way that I see it is almost like resonance, right? So there's
Because
this. Sorry, go ahead.
Because intuition is it's not thought.
No,
It's not thinking. It's not,
no,
you
no.
know,
It's almost like a remembrance without any kind of like without any history or words.
without any. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
thank you.
Hey, Ben. Hello.
Emerson, are you listening to
Hello.
some good music right now?
What's that? Sorry.
Are you listening to some good jams right now?
Oh, no, no. I'm listening to you while I'm
No,
DJing.
I saw you put the headphones on and smile like you're
No,
had a good beat going.
the headphones is for this one, but I didn't know that that it died, meaning that I had to
Oh.
charge it. So I charged it for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I have a question regarding emptiness versus nihilism.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So nihilism
you
is a
start?
belief system, right? So empty is bereft or empty of any belief system. Very simple. Yeah, nihilism is kind of like a way of believing something, you know what I'm saying? But the emptiness is just it's not religious, it's just empty of any ideas or concepts. But some people will use emptiness as a religious word, but the way that it is expressed here is just when I say emptiness, it's impersonal emptiness. It's emptiness, it's the silence in everything. It's the silence in every single thing, in every sound, in every thought, in every expression. It's the silence when you're screaming. It's the silence when you're crying. It's whatever is cannot disappear, whatever is permanent. So I can also use emptiness as empty infinity. The endless emptiness of infinity. It's just that. It's this. It's this. It's what cannot disappear. It's what's always present. But I'm not looking at it as an outside source or a higher being, because that's the trouble when it becomes kind of like a being or a source or a god, basically, right? Then emptiness is not empty anymore. It becomes an idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. An idea
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
definition or something that's been passed on. So this is something that is not a lineage or passed on or an idea from a sage or something. This is completely fresh and new, right? This emptiness, although it never disappears, it can never leave, it's always fresh and new. So it doesn't have a source, it doesn't have um uh, a separation whatsoever. It's not an outer, or it's not something that you have to unite with, because there's no you to unite with. And any ideas by you is just going to basically create um an imaginary or illusory idea of what is. So an illusory idea of what is, example would be consciousness or awareness,
Mhm.
right? And they're really convinced. It becomes their new religion, basically. It becomes their new awareness of that there is something bigger than this. It becomes their Lord. It becomes their God, basically. So any belief system that basically derails this or basically obscures it is a belief system. It's their reality. So their reality all of a sudden becomes real to them. What's being expressed here is that there's nothing real or unreal. There's no duality, because when you think that this is reality, then you think that there's something that is unreal. When you think that you have the truth, then there is something that is false. When you think that you got it, then there's something that someone that doesn't have it. So it becomes a dualistic frame of thinking, and it's quite tricky because they're convinced that they have something that is, but when you think that you have something, the illusion becomes something like the absolute truth or the ultimate or the authority. The openness here is like and the emptiness it's really empty. So nothing really nothing really gets stuck. It doesn't really kind of like arrive at anything. There's just this openness. Kind of like what I said in the beginning, this is an open house.
So I've heard some speakers call it nothingness or no thingness or various terms.
I like the word emptiness because it's not really used a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just words, really. Let's not get caught up in words, right? Words are just, are really dualistic labeling of something that cannot really be labeled. So even calling it emptiness is way too much. It's already overstated, right? Because what's appearing is the simplicity in everything. It's the foreverness in everything. It's the infiniteness in everything that appears. There's, moments in your life that you think that, it's always there. Not a source or not a thing, but it's this emptiness that's always there, where everything arises, everything from. Not a source, right? But I'm talking in dualistic terms.
Yeah.
But it's appearing, it's obviously here. It can never leave. It is not seen, but it's seen at the same time. It's appearing in everything. It's in every single pore. It's in every single vision. It's in every single sneeze. It's the wetness. It's the dryness. It's the spiciness. It's the sweetness. It's the blandness. It's the yucky feeling. It's in everything. It's the acceptance. It's the rejection. So it's not separate at all. So anything and everything that you think of is already empty. That's emptiness already appearing as whatever it is. And to top it off,
is it?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is it empty fullness, or
You can also use that? Yeah. There's this empty, but also appears full.
So does the fullness spring from the emptiness, or are they the same?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
See the way that the apparent character thinks is comparison, right?
Yeah.
So the reason I just use emptiness is just because it doesn't have to even go empty and full.
Yeah.
It's just empty. So everything is empty. Even fullness is empty. Even half empty is empty. Everything is empty already. Yeah. So, so it could be your nails. It could be your, it's empty. It's like this transparent obviousness to everything. So if you see it from a lens of wholeness, everything is wrapped in emptiness. Everything that's wrapped in emptiness is emptiness itself. When you're seeing from a lens of separation, then you don't see the wrap or the formlessness of everything. All you see is labels. All you see is labels of, this red, blue, white, gray, whatever it is, right? So when it's seen through an empty lens, meaning, it's just seen as a whole. It's like different qualities of the whole. It appears red, it appears green, it appears whatever, but it doesn't see separation. Same
Infinite
with feelings.
potentiality.
Yes. It's the shape-shifting stillness. It appears as form, but it's formless. It appears as shape, but it's shapeless. It gets shaped into our, mental fabrication of what separation is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Yeah. No worries. Hi, Emerson. When I started listening to you 4 months ago, I was full of anger and rage and actually really hated you. Oh, but currently I'm smiling ear to ear and I'm really happy that I stuck around. Thank you so much and happy birthday. Will you do more of these sessions? Sure. Yeah. Thank you. There's another day tomorrow, so it's not quite over yet. There's another session and more sessions. Yeah, there's usually a lot of frustration or kind of like anger, or even kind of like hidden anger about this communication because it is so direct and so simple and a very blunt as well of what's being expressed that it can be a threat to long time seekers, people that have listened to this or people that really long for this. When it keeps on getting expressed that it already is, it's already done, even when it's obvious, when the apparent character that's standing outside of the prison looking in is seeing that they're already outside. They keep on thinking that, well, I know I'm outside, I'm looking at the prison, so why am I still frustrated? um it's just what is. It's appearing as frustration, but that's the whole identity of the infiniteness, this emptiness that's being talked about. Oh, thank you, Paulette. Thank you so much. Can you say that Emerson is undivided peace? Undivided peace. Yeah, there's this peacefulness here. Because there's no Emerson that divides the peace. There's just this, I guess you can call it unwavering peace. Thanks, Ileana. Hi, Shir. Hello.
Uh,
Hi.
I just want to say, with this message,
Yeah.
when it heard at her, or when it arise, and we listen to this message, it's when the yes come, self yes, yes, yes. It's a beautiful dance now,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah. There's just a lot of smiling in a beautiful dance, right? It's just, yeah.
Yes, I cannot explain it.
No.
It's this message come and it's heard, and it come yes, and then come the dumb sweet.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Shir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, really.
Thank you. Hi, Emerson. When I come to these meetings, I feel so much at ease. Like there is an error in the illusion, and this is really clear. Yeah. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Oh, hi, Susie.
Hi, Emerson.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I just wanted to say happy birthday. That's all.
Oh, thank
And just
you.
say thank you for today. And me and Richard bought party hats and stuff. See?
Oh, awesome. Oh,
Happy birthday, Emerson.
oh, thank
But
you.
he's
That's the
been
sweetest.
drinking, so he's in bed.
Actually, it's too early, or isn't it?
No,
You
because
don't have.
it's Saturday here today.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
that's right. That's right. That's what Ileana said. It's already your birthday in
Yes, already
Australia.
in bed.
Yeah, in New Zealand and Australia. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wait.
Thank you, Emerson.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're gonna party some more tomorrow. We're gonna dance.
Cool.
If you guys were here, I'm going to dinner afterwards, but next time when I get there. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Rich. That's right, Nancy. Feliz cumpleaños, amigo. Gracias. Hi, Emerson. Can you talk about morality? Morality is just another creation. It's just another illusion of what is. There's no good or bad. There's no evil. There's no separation whatsoever. It's just another description of separation of something that already is. In the apparent dream, morality is used as a yardstick for good or evil, depending on what your moral compass is. But what's being expressed here is sees past through that, meaning that what is seen is that is everything is already as it is. Everything is already as it is. It doesn't have to be this or that. It doesn't have to be good or bad, because good or bad are just basically words. They're just meaningless words. This is quite evident when watching a nature show or something, that there's no morality in a safari, or no morality in a Sahara or something. But one might argue that that there is morality with human beings and everything. But what's being seen here is that it is what it is. In the story, there's going to be a either good or bad, but it's also a dream. Corey goes, oh, hi, Corey. You know what? I forgot to I think I heard your voice earlier. Sorry, because
Yeah. Oh,
hey, hi. There you go.
hi. Oh, I've been struggling here, Emerson, because I brought the monitor to laptop to my laptop, and to make it bigger because of my eyes.
Oh,
And I can't get my photo. I can't work the. That's why you can't see me.
that's
I
all
can't
right.
work
I can hear you clearly.
Oh, God.
So
Oh.
the audio problem is solved, but now the video. When I get there, I'll definitely help you set up your audio and video system.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So
Yeah. But I was Yeah, I got in a muddle today because I thought on your email, the first session there was 12 to
Oh,
I was finishing at 12. So here it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. But when I switched you on at 5 o'clock, you were just finishing.
oh,
So I don't know what happened.
oh, okay. It's 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, an hour, and then 2 hours, an hour break. So I kind of like simplified
Yes.
it a little bit. Yeah. So the
So
time is the same time as today. So it's 6 hours in total. So it starts at 10 a.m. here. So that would be 11,
right,
12, 1, 2, will be 3 o'clock your time. So
3
it's 5
o'clock.
hours. Yeah. And then so 3 to 5, and then there's a break in between, an hour,
Yeah.
and then it starts again for 2 hours, a break in between, and then 2 hours. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I was so disappointed because I missed the first session. But
oh, you know what? Um, the recording
Don't
should come out soon. So yeah.
lovely.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unless you have a question, sorry. Now that I have you, do you have any questions? Sorry. Aside
Oh,
from
I've
that.
got loads, but
No, go ahead. Go
I,
ahead. We can
I,
chat.
I don't think I'm in a good space. I don't
Okay.
know. Um, I might speak another time. I'd quite like to do one-to-one with you, really. That would be lovely.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
What do you have to do? Send you an email and ask you?
Just send me an email, yeah, and we can set it up.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be lovely.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, Corey. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Please, oh, sorry. Buen español. Oh, gracias. What do you think of medication for mental health? There's nothing wrong or right about anything at all, including that, right? I can't really comment because I'm not an expert with mental health. Um, it's just what is. And this communication is doesn't really give any advice or any comment on such matters. But thank you for asking. Yes, you got it, Kane. Yeah. Thank you for this meeting, Emerson. Does Emerson ever get sad? There's no Emerson here, but sadness happens. For example, when someone passes away. Not right now because Petra and Susie are wearing party hats, so there's no sadness here whatsoever. But yeah, sadness happens when there is, everything is just an apparent reaction. Although there's no separation, there is the illusory appearance of reaction to something. So this speaking actually is a reaction to this, um, this communication. Yeah. Someone said, can you make an outro? So what's being expressed here is just that in this directness, in this immediacy, in this clarity, that everything is as it is. And what is as is this isness, this as it isness, is just perfection already. So there's nothing that needs to be changed. There's nothing needed. There's no need to know. There's no need to understand because it's as it is. And when understanding happens or commentary happens to what seems to be happening as it is also as it is. So when it's seen that there's a commentary as it is, that's also perfection. So when there is a longing for as it is, it's as it is longing for as it is. It's always going to be as it is, and it's going to be its wholeness, completion. This everything appearing as nothing. It's not even appearing because everything is nothing directly. Nothing is everything in it immediacy. So thank you so much, everyone, for the second session. We are going to take an hour break. There's usually a 2-hour break, but I have dinner, so sorry. We're going to go out for dinner here. So thanks so much, everyone. Bye. Love you. There's an hour break.
Thanks, Emerson. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.